People remember Elvis for his voice, his fame, his crowds, but almost no one talks about the sentence he said quietly one night, a sentence with no audience, no applause, no cameras, a sentence that explains why so many strong people end their lives feeling unnecessary. That night, there was no stage, no spotlight, no one waiting for him to perform, just a room that felt larger than it should have, a silence that didn't ask questions but still demanded answers. Elvis was sitting still, not tired in the usual way, not exhausted from work or travel, but worn down by something deeper, the kind of tiredness that comes from realizing that being needed and being loved are not always the same thing. He had spent his life surrounded by people, managers, fans, voices calling his name, hands reaching out, letters asking for help, money, attention, time. From the outside, it looked like importance, like purpose, like a man whose presence mattered everywhere he went. But that night, the noise was gone, and without it, a quieter truth remained, the feeling that when the asking stops, when the lights go off, when no one needs anything from you anymore, you are left alone with a question you were never prepared to answer. He didn't say the sentence to anyone else. It wasn't meant to be heard, it wasn't meant to be remembered, it wasn't meant to become part of a story. It was simply the kind of thought that slips out when you finally admit something to yourself, the kind of sentence that doesn't need witnesses to be real. As the room stayed silent, time seemed to slow, not dramatically, not with tension, but with weight. Seconds passed differently there, stretching, lingering, forcing reflection. In moments like that, people don't think about success or failure, they think about whether their absence would change anything at all. They think about how often they tried to stand on their own, how often they refused help, how many times they told themselves strength meant not depending on anyone. And that's when the sentence came, quietly, almost casually, yet heavy enough to stay. He realized that while trying so hard to need no one, he had slowly become someone no one truly needed. Not in the deep sense, not in the way that keeps a person grounded when everything else falls away. This is the part of the story people avoid, because it's uncomfortable, because it reflects something many carry without naming. We praise independence, self-sufficiency, standing alone, but we rarely talk about the cost. We don't talk about how strength, when taken too far, can quietly turn into isolation, how pride can slowly erase connection, how being admired can exist alongside feeling replaceable. Elvis didn't cry, he didn't break down, he didn't dramatize the moment. He simply sat with the truth, letting it settle, understanding that some realizations don't arrive loudly, they arrive softly, and that's why they hurt more. Silence has a way of making thoughts echo longer than applause ever could. That sentence was never meant for the world, but it carries weight because it touches something universal, the fear that after all the effort to stand strong, to be independent, to handle everything alone, we might look around and realize that no one is waiting for us, not because we failed, but because we never allowed ourselves to be needed. And maybe that's why the sentence still hurts now, not because it belongs to Elvis, but because it belongs to anyone who has ever tried so hard to be strong that they forgot how to stay connected.